Let's go, Saskatchewan. I usually don't say that very often because it's so overused, but after yesterday's show and everything that happened, excited to be sitting in this chair for the next 3 hours with you. We're talking sports, talking a lot of CFL still, and the CFL changes. Thanks for making time, whether you're watching on the YouTube channel through sportscage.com or picking it up on any of the streams in crystal clear quality. Nothing wrong with the old-fashioned radio. Like, didn't Aaron Tippin say that? On 620 CKRM. All of our guests are going to join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites that you love. Souvlaki, ribs, salad. Our engagement piece, let us know. Some of you already are. Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals located at 600 Albert Street in Regina. Deal with the owner there. Whether you need a power tool, something to fix a fence, tents, welding, skid steers, they can deliver as well in and around Regina and southern Saskatchewan. Prairieland Rentals. The daily sponsor is Saskatchewan Lotteries, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation. We got lots of winning today, too. When we cue you, we're going to have Rams prize pack to give away. We're going to have pick the score at some point. Text of the day, I can say this already. Text of the day, you're walking away with a free 6-piece bucket feast from KFC. 6 pieces of the Colonel's Best, 2 large sides. Text of the day. Colson will pick that because on game days, they're a sponsor. End Zone Big Crunch on game days. Participating locations, $4.95. The Big Crunch combo on game days, just $7.95. So KFC, get some chicken in you for text of the day. And then Pump Jack's Cathedral. It's Tuesday. We're playing for $100 today, Colson? $100 at Pump Jack's Cathedral, 13th and Albert. Live music on the weekends. Their new soup is supposed to be top shelf. The dry ribs are. $100. But that's coming up just after 5 o'clock, and you're going to have to dial in. The question will be about football rule changes. There's your hint. Okay, so I had to, yesterday was so busy. It was so fun. Maz and I, Curtis was here. Colson's now kicked into the fire. He's here. And I thought for the first hour, we got to bring in the professor. We got to find out what the professor wants. What he thinks. Don Hewitt is here. What a day yesterday. First off, yes. you hear it on Sunday. You wake up yesterday. Don Hewitt thinks it's going to be about what? Honestly.
Well, here's the cool part of it all.
You didn't wake up.
I barely woke up, that's right. Takes me a while just to put my foot out of the bed. But what I really liked about yesterday's press conference, there were no leaks. No leaks. And you know what? That is sign number one that this commissioner is on the mark, because there's been far too many leaks going on in the CFL for so many years. When they have a media conference, everybody already knows about what it's about. It was on time. It had the bandwidth as well. It was very professionally done. And because there was no leaks at 11 o'clock Saskatchewan time, 1 o'clock Eastern, because there's no leaks, you had more viewers. And because you had more viewers, this CFL, while giving you the information, could put a great video together and sell their product. That's what, non-disclosure agreements do. Because I don't think you can run a league without them anymore, because there's too many people blabbing.
Yesterday at one point I said, I can't believe we didn't hear anything about this Sunday night.
I know.
And now there's a lot of people coming out being like, I caught wind. I knew this. I had this. I had some text messages to my phone, and I was like, I don't think that's true, but whatever. Very, very, very good points, Don. But what did you think? You've covered the league for a long time. You've been around the Riders a long time. This is monumental news. And I'll just tee this up. I didn't think it was about rules because it's mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm wrong there. I still think there's some sort of expansion news coming down for some reason, somehow. What did you think it was going to be?
Oh, I didn't even begin to guess. Honestly, it was so well done in terms of no leaks. I had one rumor that the balls are going to be bright red. I got a text. So, if you want it in a nutshell, Barney, I think the CFL has made these moves, and while they did it, they're still keeping Canadian football and the CFL unique. You've still got a wide field. You've still got a huge end zone compared to the NFL. You've got 12 players, 3 downs. You got your player ratios. You've got the waggle. You've got the yard off the ball. And really, in a lot of strategies outside of the kicking game, and including the kicking game, there's not an enormous amount of change. If you go back to what they have done, in 1974, how old were you in 1974, Barney?
I was 3 years from being born.
Okay, when you were -3.
When I was -3.
You were -3.
I didn't exactly know what it was.
The NFL moved the goalpost back.
1974, that's when they did it, yep.
So, in 51 years, which now you've given away your age, Barney.
I do it all the time. I don't know why people are always so paranoid about that. I'm getting older. Hot tip, everybody
hang
is.
around with me, you'll always be the young buck. But anyway, interestingly enough, in 51 years, Barney, the NFL has never changed their mind on moving the goalposts, and for a lot of good reasons. When I heard the commissioner on your show, and I heard him across the country, he explained it very well, thoroughly researched. He is the smartest commissioner so far that I've seen in this league ever. Ever.
There it is.
Because I think he can really get this league going. Now, there's a lot of concern about going further when he wouldn't, say there's no 4th downs coming or 4 downs. I understand there's concern, but right now, if all the people who are against this, if you ask those same people, I believe, in the middle of the 2027 season, the people that are complaining about these rule changes, if you ask them then, they are going to say this is great, I believe. But right now, it's a little raw for a lot of people.
Very well put. We are going to have some practice or some audio from the riders coming up here momentarily because they were talking about it as well. At 3:30, rider legend Scott Schultz is going to join Don and I. We'll get his take. He's always great for a sound bite. I'm sure we'll get more than one today. Hour 2, Arash Madani. Now, he's tied into a lot of different things. I'm curious to know how much Arash knew, and then I'm sure he'll go off and he'll give us his take on it. That'll be good. Also, we're going to sprinkle in a little hockey today, Don, in hour 2, because the Regina Pat Canadians, the national champion Regina Pat Canadians, open up tonight at C6 against the Estevan AAA. I think they're Bruins or Bears. Sorry, Estevan. And I think the Bears.
It'll be packed.
Because Liam Pugh and Maddox Schultz are in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
That is, we'll talk to the head coach, Ryan Hodgins, coming up in hour 2.
And Pugh scored, I believe, in Swift Current
with
for the
Pats.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so will he score in his AAA
likely
midget, U18? And then hour 3, Glen Suitor will be in. And also hour 3, the start of it, when you're driving home, most of you, or even if you're out there harvesting, notice a lot of people doing that. Start of hour 3, that's when we're doing Pump Jacks trivia today. 936-6262. You're going to have to call in, and the question, like I teased earlier, will be on football rule changes. Let's shift for a second here, because the Riders are back on the practice field today. Let's go to injury report. They just released it. The one that stands out, there's 2 that stands out for me. And I don't know if this is a misprint. I'm trying to get confirmation from Dave Thomas. It says Philippe Gagnon, arm, full participation.
Big news.
One thing that we do know, let's get confirmation on that first. Tavon Campbell was not practicing today. That hurts. Whatever it is.
Well, we'll see, because quite often the first practice of the week, of course, the Riders keep some players out the first day, so it's hard. You'd have to talk to Dave.
What was the other one? Sam Emelis taking some first-team reps. There we go.
That's Mammoth. Mammoth, I'd suggest.
Staying with the receivers, Kean Schaefer-Baker, out there but limited. Good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Bertrand-Houdon out there as well. Looks like limited for the most part, according to Dave. Joe Robustelli was full. Dre McCray was limited. Nelson Lacombo did not participate. Zach Fry did not participate. Jackson Ford did not participate. So there's some news there going around. Good news for the Riders. But do you have some of that audio already? Colson, which one do you want to go to first?
Whoever. Take your pick.
Let's go to Brett Lawther, Players Association. Right.
Oh, okay.
So Lawther talks about if there was or wasn't a lot of player input.
No, I don't think. Stu's has a job. He gets paid for the Board of Governors, and this isn't really something that has to be approved by the players. I think maybe a lot of guys think it would have probably been nice as, 25% of the revenue gross kind of partners there to kind of know a little more, but at the end of the day, they don't have to. They made the decision to make the changes they wanted, and for us, especially as the vice president, we're worried about player safety, growing revenue, and if this does that, there's not much we can really complain about.
Little different than Sean White on social media yesterday. Little more mature. As a guy that's very immature and has done a lot of stupid things, think before you speak thing didn't really hit me, Don, until about 45 years old.
A bit hard on yourself.
No, I'm immature. I'm an absolute jack, you know what. Okay, so that clip seems very... so if you're watching the stream, there's Sean White yesterday. Well, I guess I know when I won't be needed. It was a fun ride. Probably emotional. Yeah. Didn't think it through. Yeah. I know that's that state that he was in. Lawther sounds very calculated, coached, per se. In the media, we've dealt with a lot of people that, when they're kind of been coached. Sat in a room, been like, hey, we're not saying this. Don't say this. The New England Patriots, whatever they did for however many years, they weren't giving you anything. And even from the head coach, like Bill Belichick, he'd be like...
That's the point, yeah. When he did mumble, people listened because they had leaked anything.
He would ask him on this, he'd be like, what the league wants to do. What the league wants to do. We're on it. We're playing Edmonton this weekend. That'd be it. Then you could try and poke and prod, but that's all you're getting. Okay, now, so let's hear our starting quarterback, Trevor Harris, on what he thinks about the changes.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit of an overreaction yesterday by some people, but it's still 3 downs. There's still 12 people on the field. Field's still 65 yards wide. The end zone's still bigger than 10 yards. It's going 15. It's still Canadian football. There's still going to be onside punts and all the crazy plays and it's the same game. The only thing that changes is really just field goal returns. But the other return game hasn't been affected. You're always going to have kickoff returns. You're still going to have the 5-yard halo returns. So the game has not changed. It's still the Canadian Football League, and we got 9 Canadian teams in Canadian cities. And so we got smart people at the top that know what they're doing. We're employees. I wouldn't tell an employer how to run their business and what to do. And so I'm just grateful to be in this league and have an opportunity to play in front of these fans and in this country. And so I'm just grateful to be here. And whatever the rules are, we should adjust to them and trying to bend them into your advantage. And so I know there's probably some people upset, but it is what it is. And we have people at the top making decisions, and we have to trust that they know what they're doing. And I'm one of those people that I trust them.
Riders 2 for 2 on sound bites, very coached, and mature.
And by the way, talking to Mark Stephen not too long ago, he said generally the Calgary Stampeder players liked it, or they had no problems with it as well.
Colson was saying that today earlier too, which maybe we can get some of that audio out of the way. So we got Lawther and Harris, positive on it. Can we go? Do we have Coach Mace?
Yes.
Let's try and make it 3 for 3. Let's see if we can do it. Let me know when you're ready to go, Colson. Here, Coach Mace on number 1. Coach Mace, on the thoughts on the rules.
Yeah, just having a chance to really go through it. When I was sitting there like everybody, looking to see what it was going to be, and I know a lot of people went into those decisions, and I'm sure they consulted some people that are around the game for a long time. So, doing their analysis of what all the things that they're expecting from it, can only be good for the league. So, for us as coaches, and trying to adapt and conquer of whatever that looks like, but still going to be same team, still going to be CFL ball, and it should be an exciting product. So I'm curious to see it like everybody else, but I'm for it.
3 for 3.
And, here's the good part for Corey Mace and his coaching staff. If this is successful, which I think it will be, you can increase the coach's salary cap, the coach's cap, because I feel CFL coaches are underpaid. They are underpaid. And now let's get this league rolling and get paying our coaches a few more bucks.
Yes, Maz brought that up yesterday. Gets me to think, I don't know a lot of people that I could go, hey, do you feel you're underpaid? They would go, yes. Like, it would probably be 98% of my life, people. But the thing, okay, let's get into this, Don. We've heard 3 clips from the Riders.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get to some text messages. Let's say it's 2027. We found a time machine. We're zipping up to 2027. Mm-hmm. I'd love to go backwards. If it was me, take me to 1986. Premiere of Rocky 3. But we're going to 2020. So you're going to be okay, Colson? We're going to 2027. Okay? Right. And you look at the changes. Colson, can you put up that graphic that you made? You look at the CFL, and people are going NFL Light, NFL Canada, this and that. So many people gave up their tickets yesterday. I didn't go to Marketplace to see if they're all on there, but it was the amount of text. Okay, so now the American game, NFL football, on one side, let's say, and the Canadian game on the other, if you're driving at home. What are the same rules or field dimensions or whatever? The field will both be 100 yards in 2027. Not the end zones, just length of the field. The goalposts will both be at the back of the end zone. Those are 2 similarities. The game is technically called football. I guess you could grasp for 3, and some places they tailgate. What else am I missing? What is going to be the same as the NFL? 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line. There's no waggle. There's 12 men on the field. The field is wider. There's 3 downs. The clock is different. Yard off the ball is different. Hash marks are because it's so wide.
Well,
there's 2 things that will be the same. I think if we had time to pull up Australian rules football or rugby, we could probably find 2 similarities. There will be 2 things.
That's a good point.
That are the same. I need people to let me. How is this the same as the NFL or NFL Light or whatever? I'm asking an honest question. And the commissioner, part of me. What do you think? Do you think there is any way they walk any of this back?
I think it was so well thought out. I mean, there'll be some issues that they'll have to go to the rules committee and figure out for sure. We did lose not 100% field goal returns for touchdowns, but there'll be a lot fewer of them. It'd have to be a short field goal. So that's the one negative you could argue, but I think there's just way more positives to this, way more positives. And change is hard. Even good change is hard. And a lot of people have a hard time, with any change. And particularly, I mean, there's a lot of people that, aren't feeling so great about the United States with the tariffs, for example. So anything American for some, not all, for some, anything American, it's touchy. It's very touchy right now in our society and in Canada. So anything American, it's like elbows up by Canadian.
There is this proportion that bought into that charade. Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's sort of like, okay, the commissioner runs a national league. And what is going to be an interesting issue going forward, I think, Barney, is he's got 7 private owners, 2 public owners. And you take a look, say, at what the private owners want and what, the 2 public teams may want. At some point down the road, they may differ. And there's nothing maybe that can be done about that. That might be just how eventually it plays out. But, we have a guy that bought the Edmonton Elks about a year ago. Yep. Was it August? Somewhere. Yeah. Oh, it's just about a year ago. And
he almost drove over a bunch of people on the sideline.
Right. So how does he feel? Because right now he's lost his shirt with the Elks. They haven't, they're just recently playing better, but they've had some better crowds, but Larry's still lost lots of money owning the Elks. So I think we forget about those business perspectives in Manitoba and Saskatchewan where we have public teams. These guys didn't buy these clubs just because they didn't want their franchises to appreciate it all. They just wanted to lose money. So I don't think we in Saskatchewan totally understand the dynamics of the Board of Governor table.
That brings up a text message that I just saw from Doug in Chilliwack. He's saying, Trevor Harris, typical corporate, we are just employees. Well, Harris, we the fans are your employer on this team. We pay the money for your tickets, television sponsors, the fans who should be the only ones that matter, should be listened to, and for the commissioner, get used to it. Get used to the fans and sponsor walking you out the door of your job. There would be a ton of people on that side that the fans, they think that they have the power. I think on that, only time will tell. Are you not showing up for one game, for games, for seasons? Okay, that time will tell.
Well, you take a look at, say, the Rough Rider team and their attendance. Of course, it's rebounded this year. 2 great sellouts. They couldn't get a good crowd with that weather against Montreal, but the attendance is up after a couple of losing seasons where, people were upset. They lost some season ticket holders, and last year the attendance wasn't as you had hoped. This year it's rebounding. And that's what will happen for anybody that's upset right now. When they start seeing, like, for example, the 35-second clock next year, they'll realize how much better it is. We don't have to watch a CFL referee stand there forever before he blows the ball in, which is so boring. I think the commissioner announced the field goal drive that Hamilton had against Edmonton took 11 minutes. I mean, there's so many things that improve, and I think what's going to happen is people have to see it. They haven't seen it yet, and they won't see it till next year.
Yeah, very emotional still, both sides. And we're seeing it. People are coming in on the text line. Do you have something, Colson, for the break?
I was just going to hop in quick and say the Riders are up 2.6% so far for attendance this year compared to last year, and the league-wide is up 1%. Toronto's actually up 0.4%, which I'm surprised they're going up.
0.4?
Well,
yeah, 0.4. Sure. Hey, it's an up.
Toronto's a buzzsaw, and they're just packing it in there.
But the whole thing is, though, I mean, the league, you talk about 0.4, the league needs, they needed some change to get some more interest, particularly among young people. Mm-hmm. The young people are here in Saskatchewan, but in other markets they're not.
I could go for 3 hours on that. I don't think we're getting the young people with any changes, with anything that we're doing. But Savannah Banana Baseball is the biggest thing for young kids right now. That's a whole other topic. Let's get Scott Schultz is waiting. Yeah. Let's go to break, and then we got Schultzy, which is going to be awesome. It's the Sports Cage. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Of course, we're on all the audio streams and 620 CKRM. Sizzling along here on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Don Hewitt's with me, the professor, for the first hour. Colson's in the pocket. Let's go straight out. Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings. Find out what the pickup special or dine-in special is near you. Scott Schultz.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, you wake up. Did you think that it was going to be anything like what we heard and what we saw?
I was interested. I was calling around to my little friends trying to get an inside track on things, but no one really knew what was going on. And then, of course, everything unfolded the way that it did.
Thoughts on let's go through them. Which one do you want to go to first? Which one? If there's
overall, I mean, the CFL, it's been in a funk. I don't think anyone would say that it hasn't been, even though I heard in the last segment there's been 1%, 0.4% growth. Like that, you don't even talk about that. That's not growth,
That's right.
And so I don't think it's been any secret that the CFL's been stuck in a funk, and it's been flat attendance, flat TV, and flat growth. I mean, plus or minus 1%. I think the changes are shaking things up, but they're trying to appeal to new markets, and we can talk about this in a little bit. But I don't see them as crazy radical. It's more like tweaks to improve the product.
What markets do you think they're trying to appeal to?
Well, I just think first of all, the outrage is from the diehard Canadian CFL fan, and they're certainly welcome to it. And I have ties to that, and there's things that I covet. But I think it's been proven in the last decade, it's been barely enough. Like that group has been barely enough to keep the CFL running and going. And so I think they're looking. I mean, they're doing this world thing. They're the international players. They've made all kinds of attempts to do things, and they've all fallen flat. And so now I think they're trying to streamline the appearance of the game, the flow of the game a little bit, to open it up to that casual audience, the new audience. And the diehard fans aren't going to want to hear that, but those are the fans and those are the dollars that are going to take the league forward. So it's a balancing act on how you're going to do that. And I get why people are upset.
Now, Scott, you're a businessman. You're in the insurance business. So can you see the dynamic at the CFL Board of Governors table with the 7 owners all losing money? And, of course, the two teams that have the best attendance, ironically, the two publicly owned teams. But would you want to be the commissioner in that situation? Because, that's a lot of balls to have in the air at the same time for Stuart Johnston.
Yeah, there's things there from a business perspective on just the CFL and above level. You're not looking at junior football and everything underneath at high school and college. Those guys do need to get a return on their investment, and it's always been the story that the lovable and accepting ownership groups of this league have just taken it on the chin, and they use it for their tax write-offs, and on and on and on it goes. But at some point, there's got to be some kind of attempt to increase revenues and get their money back. And again, I understand that the diehard CFL contingent doesn't want anything to change, but as your market share continues to shrink year over year over year, that's not maintaining the tradition. It's just going to fizzle out and die. Where at least these guys right now, they're trying to shake things up. Now I've got things that I like and dislike about what they've announced,
right.
But from that business perspective, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Brendan on the YouTube chat saying he loves the changes. Definitely there's more people messaging in that hate it. Like you said, the diehard, the CFL loyalists, Scott, for sure. Do you think there's any way that they walk a little bit, some of this back?
Well, they might get that knee-jerk reaction, and you might see some of that. I mean, with this, just look at what's happened in the last 5 years on things in the media and wokeness and up and down, and people do one thing and then the reaction and then they walk things back. So you never know. I would hope that they would, be able to stick to their guns a little bit. But even, the players' reactions, you hear Nathan Work, he doesn't like it. But I respect his passion, but some of his comments were hyperbolic. I mean, he mentioned the waggle, he mentioned 3 downs, he mentioned 12 players, the wide field, all that's staying intact, guys. So that's what's the uniqueness of the game. Being a yard off the ball, the 3 downs, the 12 players. So I think there's some fair criticism, but at the same time, it's not like they're ripping the fabric of the game apart. And some will say, well, this is the first step and all the rest of it. But from a business model point, they're at their wits' end and they're trying this now. And I think that if they did move closer to ripping out some of those things that I had mentioned, the 3 downs, the waggle, the 12 players, the wide field, then you would get some severe pushback.
And that's where there's a lot of paranoia, I think, with some people to be like, when are we going to 4 downs?
Yeah, is this the start?
When are we going to 11 guys? Because Schultz, when I broke it down last night, I don't even know why I was still thinking about this last night after everything yesterday. I couldn't remove myself from it. If we put ourselves in 2027, unless I'm missing something here, the 2 things that are similar to the American game, the only 2 are the length of the field, not even the end zones, and the goalpost will be at the back. Other than that, it's almost all different.
Exactly. Like the CFL has a deep tradition and change feels like Americanization. I get it. People feel like they're losing identity, but we're not losing the rules that define the CFL. I mean, change is always going to be uncomfortable, but guys, the status quo was not working. Simple.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I think that's the bottom line. And we don't sort of think of that in Saskatchewan as a whole identity of what's going on with these owners losing money. And now, one thing that's interesting is there is a lot of concern about amateur football. Scott McCauley very upset, the coach of the Thunder, youth sports. But I think the good part about why did the commissioner do this interview yesterday of all times, the answer was very clear. He wanted to give amateur football, high school, university, junior football as much leeway with time as possible. And you take a look at the turf here in Saskatchewan. The turf manufacturers say artificial turf lasts about a decade. So our turf went in 2017. The city has a budget. The city of Regina has a budget for new turf.
Allegedly,
for 2028 for new turf at Mosaic. You would think this would fit because you put it in the early in 2027. You don't stitch anything down. The paints on artificial turf have really improved. They come on well and they're washable. And, there could be a lot less hassle going on, say, at Mosaic than what you would think.
Good point.
Well, what gives me, just like what you guys said, like I'm not so excited about the immediate changes. Like I'm not excited, I'm not against them per se. And we can talk about them specifically because really what we've been talking about is a bunch of hyperbole of things that haven't happened yet or people fear to happen, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about what actually has changed. And, what gives me pause is that cascading effect. What does happen to youth sports and junior and high school? The field changes mean facilities, programs may need to adapt. But, the CFL, they must communicate clearly downstream and have a plan. And again, with the CFL doing what it does, it doesn't necessarily mean that all amateur football has to follow suit either.
That's right.
Everything's fine and away it goes. And if kids have that opportunity to go to the CFL, their skills are going to transfer. They always have.
Yeah, that's right. And interesting, Libel Field has never changed the hash marks as far as I know. When the league changed the hash marks and made them closer, Libel Field kept them where they were and there have been no problems. I
think that turf should have been changed by now for the city. When you think about the 10-year.
Some people can keep it in perspective. Like we're not losing the waggle. We're not losing the downs. We're not going to 4 downs.
Man.
You don't grow a league by protecting tradition while shrinking. And it's a balance act. I'm not saying throw the tradition out like the baby with the bathwater, but what I am saying is some of these things need to change. Like I can't, like, some people are like, they love the clock situation. It's awful. 11 minutes to get through 1 minute of play is disgusting. And then it opens it up to the third party of the referees getting involved and their incompetence, which I think everyone can agree on, referee incompetence in this league. And so now you're going to continue to allow their incompetence to impact the games in the most pressure-filled moments, where I think if you get that running clock, you're going to get a real sense of urgency, and it's going to be the coaching staff and how they operate and how they can communicate with their teams on how to get a stop of the clock and get set up and continue on with the play that's going to either tie or win the game.
Back to the field thing in the amateur football, and I've texted Arash. He's coming up in hour 2. He's got a really good rebuttal on it that I'll just tease it and leave it at that. But part of me thinks, too, after last night, after listening, obviously amateur football, everything, we don't want Mosaic Stadium to just be used for CFL. Like, it doesn't make any sense as it is. We don't have concerts or anything in there. And then now we're just going to use it for that. But also, part of me thinks it's 2025. There are teams sharing turf, putting new paint on turf, new logos weekly down south. We have people living in outer space. Like, we might not be thinking clearly here. There might be a way to convert things a lot quicker in 2025. Just an idea.
Well, I think all those things can be true at the same time. And again, I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to say that the traditionalists are the ones that, or even if you're not so much of a traditionalist, but you just don't like these changes. I'm not saying you guys are whack or off kilter. I'm just saying you have to take a look at not just your perspective, meaning just my little traditionalist. You got to look at the league and what's happening and, what's the future of that? I mean, you look in Saskatchewan. I mean, everyone falls back in Saskatchewan and says, well, it's not the case in Saskatchewan, but it is the case. Attendance is down. If things were left to run exactly the way that they are in 10 years, it's 10 years older people, and the younger people aren't coming and filling underneath and picking up that slack. And that's where you've got to look at some of these casual fans. You've got to look at different markets, and you've got to expand the game into those things. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to maintain the uniqueness of the CFL, but yet put it in a place that it's optically can be received by someone who's not an expert at what they're looking at.
Here's a good question someone just sent on the text line, and I usually don't read them if they don't leave their names, but I'm going to throw this out to you, and probably more to you, Schultz, and then, Don, you go. Do you think Jim Hobson, a true football person, great president, awesome promoter of Saskatchewan Rough Rider and football, would be in agreement of these ridiculous changes? I said yeah. I think he would.
Well, I think look at Jim and what he's done. I think he's been the marquee of a guy that has been able to balance tradition with growth and change and moving forward. So maybe they would be tweaked a little bit, but he wouldn't have shied away from this. He wouldn't have dug his heels in the ground and said no. He would have worked with this just like the entire board of directors did, because it was unanimous, and they would have come to an agreement that would have been satisfactory to old Jimbo. And I'm not saying that he would wholesale check off on these, but I guarantee you some shape or form he would have signed off on and been valuable in developing this process.
What do you think?
Well, I agree totally with Scott, so I won't repeat what he said because I think he's bang on. I mean, Jim was a progressive thinker.
Yes, he was. That's the reason I said I think he would be on that side. It's hard to say, and that's a tough one. Which rule, if there was one, Schultze, that was a slam dunk for you? Was it the Rouge?
Well, the Rouge. To me, like I don't care. Then that's again. I played 9 years. I've been in situations where that's come into place. It's ridiculous.
And
like,
coached.
And to have a game come down and the struggle is real, and then a missed field goal and 1 point and then over. Like, it is ridiculous, and I don't care what anyone says about it. Could they have just addressed that? Sure, right? I would have been happy with that. But that Rouge, I don't get it. I never liked that. I never liked the impact that it had on the game. And it was just one of those, it's almost, it reminds me of like a snarky liberal talking point. Like, we got the Rouge. Like, ha ha ha, we won. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's like, it's one of those, it's a caveat. You know what I mean? It's a tiny toehold in a downhill, intellectually dishonest, disingenuous thought process.
Well, I'll throw something else at you. How tired I am of watching Andre Proulx
You don't like that guy.
decide when he's going to blow the play in. And you sit there, you go get a drink, you go get a popcorn, visit the washroom, and he still hasn't blown the play in. And it's not just him. I mean, but that is such an absolute waste of time on television when some lineman is just sort of,
Former defensive lineman here.
Not Scott Schultz. He wouldn't do that, but another defensive lineman who takes his time, and the referee says, "Oh, better let him get there. Give him some time. He's on the far bench because they're on the same side of the field, and I'll blow it in when he's ready. Oh, wait a minute. He looks like he's winded. I'll give him another few seconds." I mean, that is such a waste of time, and it drives you nuts.
It's very Winnipegish. There's no question about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so much good in the league. Like you said, Schultz, it is change, and change a lot of times, comes with a lot of criticism, and we're seeing it, and it's loud. I hope it's good. We'll see in 5 years, right? We probably just sit back and laugh about this.
And that's the thing. Like they're making some changes. Like, I'm not ecstatic about all of it. Like, I think we could get away without changing the field, But I like the time clock. Hey, who would love more than a fat lineman to get the benches on either side? You try running 70 yards to the goal line in frickin' Hamilton in late July, when you're sucking air through your butt because you're already been down, and you got to cycle in and out. It's amateur. It's amateur.
That's right.
That you got both on one side, and you got to run in like that.
Oh, 100%, Scott. You had to do it. 100%.
And so if that makes me not a traditionalist, I don't care. Someone very close to me said, put the ball down, blow the whistle. So, I mean, it really boils down to that. Let's keep our league intact. There's going to be changes, but come on, people, like relax.
And if anyone's watching the stream, you got to check this out. Do you guys remember? This was, I got to give a plug. I found it on, I saw it on Twitter last night. That is the old Memphis Mad Dogs.
Oh, wow.
And it's vintage Sasko on Twitter. Look at that beauty of an end zone.
I don't know if Scott can see it or not.
Oh, what?
Oh, my
Wouldn't that be something, Schultz, eh?
The stories Eddie Davis could tell.
That would be like sort of playing football in a hockey arena, really.
Yeah,
Basically the same difference.
What are we, Iowa Barnstormers?
It's
yeah, exactly.
It's interesting how back in the 80s, it doesn't matter what sport, how it was okay to have different fields, different ice, different hockey rinks for different sizes. Baseball's never been the same.
On two different NFL preseason seasons in 01 and 02, I played on a hybrid baseball football field twice.
Hybrid,
the number
wow.
one league in the world. So let's just, and I'm not saying, listen, I'll be the first one to storm the castle when they start talking about the yard, or they start talking about the downs, or they start talking about the width.
Yeah.
Those kinds of, the waggle. that is, as long as we have those things intact, I'm willing to see if there is something to these, national-wide businessmen trying to tweak the league to
that's
make
right.
things better.
And what has the pitch clock done for baseball? A lot.
Yep.
Ugh.
I'm sure Arash will get into that as well. All right. What's up at Lakeview Insurance? Just call you and you come up for a coffee and talk CFL rule changes?
Call me. Find me on Facebook. Harvest is in the thick of things. When things settle down, farmers, we've got seed grower programs. We've got all kinds of action for agribusiness. Give your boy a call.
Schultz, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for taking time today, man.
Thanks, guys. Always fun being on there. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Right on. There he is, former Rough Rider. Scott Schultz.
Another great Rough Rider.
You never know. Colson's over there just dying, laughing, busting his gut. It's always
You talk about a guy that played with passion from Moose Jaw, Scott Schultz.
Let's go to a quick break. We're going to come back, maybe catch some more of that Rider audio from today. It is a Sports Cage. Keep the text messages coming. We're streaming at sportscage.com on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Practice field today, no Tavon Campbell. Marcus Sales was there, as was Philippe Gagnon, he says, according to the Riders. Kean Schaefer-Baker limited, and also Sam Emelis took some first-team reps. Riders are in Edmonton coming up on Saturday. Jay's hosting Boston tonight in the majors. Local hockey, Midget AAA Loop U18. Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh will be in the lineup for the Regina Pat Canadians home opener against the Estevan Bears, 8 o'clock at C6. Saskatchewan Junior League, Warman's at Battleford, Weyburn, and Humboldt. LaRange welcomes Melfort. SportsCage.com poll. Get in there and vote. This one's off the charts. Which announced change to the CFL game will have the most impact? Vote at SportsCage.com. And hour one is for Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals, keeping you in hot and soft water. Call on Reliance. Okay, Don, let's hear another clip from Trevor Harris. And yesterday, Darian Durant talked about, he thought it was kind of part of the game that you had to throw over goalposts and lob it and worry about that and all that, which I guess you could say, yeah, but what if it wasn't there? And then here's Trevor Harris talking about the same thing. Dave asked him on the goalposts moving and what he thinks.
I neither hate it nor love it. I have seen people run into it, which is pretty wild, but yeah, I mean, it does. You do kind of talk about it when you're backed up. You can't really work the field because maybe it's in the way, or I know some teams use the field goal post as a weapon or a deterrent or whatever it may be, and some DBs try and hide behind it, and so the little things like that you'll miss and be able to say remember a win sort of situation. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good thing for the league.
Well, he'd know. Who's got a better perspective?
These people that are texting you.
Yeah. I mean, you got to listen to somebody like Trevor Harris make those comments. He's on the field. He's seeing what's going on. And Trevor, he doesn't want to admit, but sometimes the offense will use the old goalpost as a pick play.
Absolutely. You use it in ammo, use it in flag, men's touch, kids touch. You got goalposts in there? If you're not using them,
yeah,
you're not playing the game right.
Oh, that's right. But, I mean, I don't have 10% of the opinion that should be listened to compared to a starting quarterback in the CFL that's dealt with the goalposts, and that's the fact. So I listen to everything he says.
Do we have time for Lawther? We don't. Okay, we'll get to that after because we got more comments from Brett Lawther. Text message to read. Joseph says, I'm not a big fan of some of the changes, but this sure lends a chance once again to try some form of expansion to smaller cities in the U.S. with the fields being the same. I've heard that a lot too. I don't think that is the future. I don't think they want to go down that, especially with our dollar. Not that it was great the last time they did it. If anything, I think maybe some U.S. dollars coming north to put a team in Nova Scotia, to put a team somewhere else. Maybe that. I can't see. And then the ratio thing with an American
right
expansion.
Now, I can't see anything working with the relationship between Canada and the United States right now. But here's the good news, Barney. The CFL is the talk of the country the last little while, last day or two, last day and a half. It's been the talk of the country. Yeah. When's the last time that happened?
Yeah, it's a really good point. That hour blew by. Thanks for coming.
For having me.
Well, you come in. The door's always open. People love it.
Well, you got to invite me.
Yeah. Well, it's an open invitation.
But
there you go.
You know what? I'm really looking forward to when you talk to Arash. I'm really looking forward to what he thinks about this.
Yeah, that's coming up right after 4 o'clock. Arash, we're going to talk AAA hockey with the head coach of the Pat Seas. Glen Suitor's in hour 3. Whole lot more coming up and more winning. It's a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com. Hour 2 of the Sports Cage for Saskatchewan Lotteries on this Tuesday. Still a lot to get to. Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. It's coming up after the 5 o'clock hour. So get your dialing fingers ready, or finger. 936-6262. Call during news next hour. You get a chance to win $100 to Pump Jacks Cathedral. We are playing for a Regina Rams prize package. We're giving away 4 tickets, 2 adult, 2 youth, to Saturday afternoon's game versus the Manitoba Bisons at Mosaic Stadium. 2 youth Ram hoodies. They also fit small adults. And 2 water bottles. 936-6262. All you got to say is Rams. Colson says that's good. So Rams, 936-6262. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I've been waiting to talk to this gentleman and the gentleman we have after 5 o'clock. Let's go coast to coast.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
All right, Arash. I had information overload yesterday, and it wasn't the fact that calculus makes my head hurt and different things. It was just the amount of text messages I read, and then I continued to read things all night for some reason. It was, I think, a monumental day for the CFL.
No question.
Maybe for Canadian sport. We're okay saying that?
I definitely think it's a seismic day for Canadian football. Like, I don't want to get, a transformative day. This is a massive change that's going to be ahead in 26 and 27. And I think at its core, Barney, you have to understand the why. And the why is that outside of a couple of markets, professional football in this country is nowhere near generating the metrics being attendance, ratings, attention, conversation starter as it had a generation and definitely 2 generations ago. Something had to give, something had to change, something had to happen. The thing is, yesterday, Barney, a lot happened all at once, and I think that's what kind of caught some people off guard.
We kind of talk about the why. To the fans that, and you've been here, you worked in Winnipeg.
Yep.
You were just here a couple of weeks ago. You know the passion we have. You've covered games here. To the fans that are, being so emotional right now, reactionary. I'm giving up my tickets. I'm done with the CFL. And some people are like, what, you just don't like change? What do you say to those people, Arash? What's your thinking there?
And look, I understand that you're rattled. I understand that you're fearful that the Canadian Football League that you knew is going to be no longer. Except, what I would remind you is that there are still 12 players on the field. There are still 3 downs. It's still 65 yards wide. There will still be a rouge. They're just eliminating the stupid parts of the rouge. You actually have a consistent play clock now, not just a referee arbitrarily whistling it in, and on and on and on. And Barney, I don't know how many times a week from staunch CFL fans, I'll get a text or a message that says, "Did you see that Houston-Jacksonville game? That was a dud." This isn't that one league is better than the other, or one league is more entertaining than the other. There are duds all over the place in pro sports. But when you have 3 or 4 games a week, not 15 or 16, and they're all either in prime time or in an afternoon slot where they're on national TV, CTV, etc., when a winning team has one successful completion at the midway point of the 4th quarter, like Winnipeg had against Ottawa the other night, something's got to give and something's got to change. It's not that one's better than the other. It has nothing to do with that. This is a league that from an on-field, for a long time, the product kept the CFL alive. And the issue has been is that the product isn't generating the pop that it once did. And so there needed to be changes. And I honestly applaud the Canadian Football League for just not doing the same thing over and over again, because that's what they've always done.
I ran my own little focus group from 7 p.m. last night until 8:30 this morning.
Okay.
My daughter loves football, loves going to Rider games, loves playing flag football. My son loves playing flag football. Does he watch it? Little bit. I drove 8 children to different events in the last, 14, 15 hours to that time.
By the way, is this a humble brag? Like, are you applying for Father of the Year here? Is that what's going on? Okay.
Trust me, I'm not. Mrs. S is doing way more heavy lifting. But yes, I'm trying to think, because it's been such big news, it's out on social media. Are they going to ask me anything? Are they going to say anything about it? Dad, what's with the CFL rules? Dad, what's with this? Not one word. And I was like, okay. The excitement of the game is there. I think you have the one-offs, like in any sport, any league, that you're talking about. What happened, with Winnipeg. They're trying to do this at its core, and some people are going to say they want to turn into the U.S., they want to do that. At its core, it's hard not to believe they sat down, a group of people, and said, how do we make this better? With that said, Arash, which of the new rules that are coming in, allegedly still on the table, makes sense to you?
A bunch. Let's start with debate. Like there's nobody can debate this one. I think we're all unanimous.
I don't know.
Opposite sidelines is probably a good idea. If one team's on the other 20-yard line, they shouldn't need to have a 300-pound lineman run 70 yards across the field to substitute in to get into a huddle.
I guarantee we're going to get a text message from somebody say, no, damn it, let them run. Got to be in better shape. There's always somebody. You know what it's like.
There's somebody.
That one does, makes sense.
That one.
To everybody.
Think of the chaos that goes, so that's one. The other, think of the chaos that goes on in the field all the time, every snap, between snaps. Plays going on, pass rushers coming after quarterbacks, substitutions coming and going, the loudspeakers going, the music, you can be distracted. A referee arbitrarily, once the ball is snapped, wherever the ball may be, whenever they get it down, is going to blow that clock in at 20 seconds then. Instead of, look, the play ends, you have 35 seconds. Boom. To me, it's a uniform, not every play in between is 35 seconds. Keep that consistent. I like that a lot. The one I'm actually on board with too is moving the goalposts back. And here's why. Think about 65 yards. You effectively have 25 yards to the left of the upright, 25 yards to the right of the upright. And in between, you have 15 yards of width and now 15 yards of depth. That was blocked by a goalpost, by uprights. You are taking away the entire middle of the field where you can have highlight reel plays happen. Barney, let's remember, and this is what people are going to get upset about. This is not a sports league. This is an entertainment enterprise. And the CFL is not alone. I was having this conversation with somebody last night. I'm like, you're telling me you don't think the NBA is not a professional basketball league, right? LeBron's playing for the Lakers, okay? If Charlotte's here on Wednesday and the Lakers are here on Friday, What's a gold seat in the lower bowl going for the Charlotte game, and what's it going for when LeBron comes here? You think the NBA referees are going to foul LeBron out on a reach-in foul? What the CFL needs to do is use the entire end zone to create reels, to create viral moments, have their star players, the quarterbacks and the receivers, have the space, have more real estate to make something happen. And that's why I think moving the goalpost back is a solid move.
I'll say I agree for the most part. It is now the amateur football, the facilities, and I'm just thinking of Saskatchewan for the most part, played a little bit of Manitoba and Alberta, but Saskatchewan. And now the university teams, the junior football teams, which it all trickles down.
Okay, let me stop you. I know where you're going with this, but I think that's false altogether. I truly believe that high school teams, junior teams, youth sports teams don't change anything. They continue to operate the way they always have done. The NBA has a 3-point line of its own that college doesn't use. College uses a 24-second shot clock. College uses a 40-minute game, not a 48-minute game. Now, what do I mean? You're saying, well, what about the field, right? Well, in the Atlantic Conference in youth sports, not one school's affected. In the Quebec Conference, just one's affected. In Ontario, nobody's affected. In Canada West, there could be 3. But of the 3, Calgary and Winnipeg, they have pro soccer teams playing in there. They already take the goalposts out for the pro soccer games. Outside of Regina, and Craig Reynolds talked about this yesterday, in Regina, they have the yard line stitched on the field. They need a new field anyway. It's going to be 10 years old.
Yeah.
You have lines that can be painted and removed. It has to be incumbent on the CFL team in Winnipeg, Calgary, Montreal. You are tenants of the university to return the field the way it was presented to you. So this is going to cost the teams a little bit of money. But if I'm U Sports, if I'm the CJFL, if I'm any of these entities, I keep it status quo. And just the 3 or 4 stadiums that are using these facilities, the pro teams, they're the ones who are going to have to adapt and then change back 9 times a year.
Oof. Oh, I want to see the time-lapse video of that.
Well, look,
going on.
Barney, they just had Morgan Wallen in Edmonton. What happened to put 50,000 people, take over the field, get a stage up there, all the theatrics, etc.? How often do these happen for other entities coming in?
So let's walk through this. Let's say Mosaic Stadium, which I agree they need new turf. The 10-year lifespan, they're getting close to that anyways. The moving of the goalposts, I'm trying to remember when I played like men's flag on there. I think they have the ability to do that because they had soccer there as well.
Yeah,
could be totally wrong. It's just a hole that you patch over. Is it long term? No, you don't want it long term. Okay, so then the CFL goes to their field for a game. You're saying that it's on the CFL to put the field back for the high school users that start the next week, and maybe the junior team and the round, like paint. I don't even know the field term. The stitching in.
We live in a world. We're at an arena. Granted, indoor arena and outdoor stadium are different. You're having a playoff basketball game at 1:00, a Stanley Cup playoff game at 7:00, and a concert the next night. 3 different things in 36 hours involving ice and hard courts and indoor pyrotechnics. We're talking about removable paint. That's what, none of these end zones are filled in with logos. It's not like you're going to have a soccer goalie, 10 yards into a goal line being in, blue paint in Winnipeg. And already with the NSL team in Calgary and the CPL team in Winnipeg, they're doing this with soccer. It's happening already.
See, I'm curious on that. And so you're the expense is all up to the CFL teams?
Sure. It's 9 games a year. It's 9 games a year. So I don't know what the costs are, but I'm telling you, it's not significant. It's not significant to repaint some lines, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they say, all right, everyone keep things status quo. The league will invest.
Why wouldn't you?
Changing. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Like I don't know. I can't remember how many youth sports teams there are now in the country. Again, we're talking only 4 that are going to be affected. There are literally there's a scenario in Montreal. Like the Alouettes are tenants of McGill University, right? They only come in 9 times a year as is right now. So they come in, they get the stadium the afternoon before the game, and 6 hours after the game, they're gone and completely, transform it. They put the Jumbotron in, they put the tunnel in, they put all the pyrotechnics in, all the sponsorship signage in. This is just adding a bunch of lines painted on the field. That's all.
It's an interesting
moving the goalposts. I'm going
to sleep on that. That's okay. An interesting one. What do you know about the possibility? I saw it online of and you're from Nova Scotia, that there's a stadium there that's only 100 yards long that people are saying can get some stands up and possibly a team. And this is one of the conspiracy theorists on why it happened, tinfoil head style.
Zero. There's no owner. There's no state. I've been to the Wanderers grounds. It's portables all over the place, et cetera, et cetera. There's no owner ready. Here's my concern, Barney, in all this. Moving the goalposts. We still have stubborn dinosaur coaches who think that going for it on 3rd and 2 is an air quotes gamble. Like I'm watching the football game last night. Dan Campbell's got a 7-point lead, 4th and 2. Comes out of a timeout. What does he do? There was a post corner to Amon-Ra St. Brown for like a 30-yard gain. Like that's modern football. My concern with moving the goalposts back is we're going to see a hell of a lot more punts. Because I don't know, somewhere along the way, this idea that this was a gamble came to mind. Every single data point and analytic tells you go for it unless you're fully pinned deep in your own territory. We're 99% going to go for it, Barney, on 3rd and 1, but it's a gamble on 3rd and 2. Come on.
Not to change subjects here, but wouldn't it have been cool to be alive back in 79, 80 and see the repercussions when the NBA went to a 3-point line?
Right. Dude, absolutely. Yes. Also, remember 2 years ago? Baseball implemented the pitch clock. You would have thought from the purists and the traditionalists that they changed the diamond into a circle. Like, it was unbelievable, the outcry and how dare you and this and that. And what's happened? It's made the game better. Remember when the designated hitter was added? The DH came into the mix? How dare you take the bat away from the pitcher?
More room behind the net in hockey, the 2-line pass, and so on. And when Boston had to get in a regulation size rink, so many different things. Okay, let's not get lost here. What's your take on the Rouge, the new rule coming in there?
I like it because I've always thought it was crazy to reward failure. Like if you miss a field goal and you blast it 20 yards wide left or 20 yards wide right and it goes out of the back of the end zone, why are you being rewarded for it? I actually think now that the punt can be used as a strategic tool in the end zone to make sure somebody kneels. And all these people saying, well, now you've removed the field goal return. Somebody on Twitter had a real good post that less than 1% of snaps are returned for field goals. And it doesn't mean with the goalpost at the back of the end zone, you still can't send a returner back on a long attempt because if it's short, it could be returned. So those are my thoughts there.
Commissioner couldn't answer my question yesterday. I don't know if it came out today. Is it still returner? I don't want to run out. I can punt it out of the end zone. He said he was going to have to check with his rules team because you've seen it. I call it punt-a-palooza. Punt it out. then try and punt it back. Now we got 15 yards to try and land it to. Makes it a little bit tricky, but I want to know what the deal is there. Do you have to run it out? Can you punt it out?
I don't know.
I know.
I find out.
I love it. And I'm not just trying to be a shite disturber at all. I really want to know what's going on there. So let's look, Kate. And we talked about this earlier in the show. Americanization of the CFL. That's what we're doing here. Yeah. NFL light. Yeah, people would call it what you want. Okay, what are the things that, let's say we're living in 2027 right now. We both look this youthful. We're looking fantastic. What are the things that are the same as the NFL? Length of the field, not including the end zones, right? That's one.
Well, end zones are still 15 yards, not 10.
I know, that's what I mean. The length of the field is 100. We're not including end zones. So that's the one thing that's the same as the NFL. Second thing would be the goalpost at the back.
Goalpost at the back, yeah.
Because the NFL figured that out in 1974, that they were moving theirs to the back. Okay, so those are two things that are the same as the for the NFL light or Canadian NFL, what are the Americanization? So I got two things. What else are we missing here? That is the same as the American. The ball's different. The waggle's different. Number of players, number of plays, length of
number of downs, number of downs,
field, number of downs, width of the field, the ball, the play clock. There's two things that are the same as, and this is Americanization. I need to wrap my head around that. I need to figure this out more.
Well, it is a culture of fear that people have to change. It honestly is, Barney. I don't know what else to say. Like if Stu Johnson had come out yesterday and said we're removing the ratio. If Stu Johnson comes out yesterday and says we're moving to 4 downs. If Stu Johnson says we're going to merge with an American league, if Stu Johnson's like for a second there on Sunday, I'm like watching the Vikings-Bengals game. I'm like, is Cincinnati moving to the CFL? It's just people want to be up in arms for the sake of being up in arms. I don't like the 55-yard line going away. I like the 55-yard line. I thought that was uniquely Canadian. But if you're effectively giving away one unique item at the expense of the hope that this is going to generate more offense, more points, more attention, etc., shoot. Because doing the same thing wasn't going to move you forward. I think we all have to understand and realize that.
And so many people, I thought it amusing, interesting, that were going off the one question that Justin Dunk answered, which probably would have asked it myself, and he was clear on it. Can you say we'll never go to 4 downs? And he says, I'll never say never. Right away, everybody, whoo. And it's like, I don't think you ever, I don't put a lot of stuff in ink. I like putting stuff in pencil in my life. And if someone comes to the CFL and says, here's $200 billion, we want to buy you. Someone in Dubai. Because they got real money there. Check out the Live Tour. What do you say, no? Patriotic, getting Canada flag out?
Like some of the arguments being made yesterday, like this is why I wanted to come on and make sure, like to me, and I think U Sports needs to do this. U Sports needs to just continue doing what they're doing. CJFL the same, et cetera, et cetera. You have minor football leagues all over the place, practice fields. There's no need to change what you're doing because of the infrastructure. But you just went through all the things that make the CFL unique, Barney. Right? Like if we're going to make a list of the 20 things that are really kind of special, different, organic about the CFL, missed field goal returns is probably like 20th or 21st or 22nd on the list. I know we've had 2 or 3 this year. But who's coming to a football game and saying, man, I can't wait to watch a missed field goal return today?
There's people banging their dashboards or their computers or whatever right now. Hey, we're just giving you some perspective, some context from different angles here. That's all we're doing. We love the game. Like, can we just all get that? Like, we love the CFL. We love the game. I counted 2 things in 2027 that are going to be the same. Am I missing a bunch? Please let me know.
So here's the other thing.
There's 2 things that are similar to probably Australian rules football as a CFL.
Here's some other things now. Okay, so touchbacks, unintended consequences. Touchbacks, right now they're going to come out to the 40-yard line. In a shortened field, they got to move that to the 35 or the 30. You can't give a team that great a field position. Yep. That's my opinion on that.
I like that.
The other is the command center needs an upgrade. Officials having their hand to their ear for 5 minutes on an offside call, that needs to change. Like, we are getting caught up in the stuff, to me, that is quite trivial and doesn't even come close to mattering as much as the issues that actually should. And the way the replay officials, the way the on-field game is managed, that's got to be among the next on-field priorities for Stuart Johnston.
And let's get stats done properly. Like many high school leagues and junior leagues and senior hockey leagues can do. If they can do it, you can do it, CFL. We're behind you.
And your website. And look, I know that internally, look, here's the other thing. Let's remember where all this is coming from. Stuart Johnston was a television executive for nearly 30 years. His job was to get viewership as high as possible. He wanted to find ways, trends, things that are going to get people more interested in this league because it was good for business for him for the last quarter century. In a lot of ways, it's the same now. He's got to come in and clean up a ton, from the website to the socials to the stats to the officiating to the replay to the on-field. This was day one, step one after a 5-6 month run of, this is my vision. This is what I'm presenting to the board of directors. Let's go.
Last thing on this, and then we'll move to some baseball. Do you think, if there was a line, if we could sprinkle, you and I, what would the odds be that they walk anything back?
Between now and 27?
Between now and, next year even.
Minus 10,000. They're not walking it back.
Whoa.
You get unanimous board of governor approval. You're going to move forward with this stuff. What would make you walk it back?
Public pressure. Violence.
Violence in the streets. I can't remember a time in our lifetime, Barney, from a rule standpoint, more outcry than the implementation of the pitch clock in baseball. And by the end of the first month of the season, people were saying, where have you been all my life?
My stance, in 5 years from now, we're going to look back on this, have a chuckle, and be like, yeah. I said yesterday, we lived through COVID. Right. If you lived through that, you lived through something, and we adjusted. And then there was people on either sides there and all that. Okay, quickly to baseball here. Blue Jays. What do we need to touch on here? Excitement. Are AL East going to be theirs?
I think so. I don't see how any of this. Here's the thing about the American League. Nobody's any good. Okay, I shouldn't say nobody's any good. Every team has holes. Every team has deficiencies. Every team has issues. The Blue Jays have a cushion. The Blue Jays have Kevin Gausman going tonight. The Blue Jays are going to be fine. I think they win the division, etc. That's through 162. The issue, Barney, becomes in a best of 5. The issue becomes, if you win the division, the best of 5, suddenly how is this all going to be managed? What's going to happen if one of your starters blows up? Who's going to be available for you out of the bullpen? What happens if one of these under-the-radar offensive bats, or a few of them, don't produce for a couple of days? These become the questions in a best of 5, but I think over the next week, they've got enough daylight and runway to clinch.
I just saw this too online. Speaking of new rules, there's another new rule for baseball coming.
Yes, automated balls and strikes. You can challenge a ball up to 2 balls and strikes. The pitcher, the catcher, and the batter are the only ones who are going to be able to do that. Purists! I think yesterday in the Milwaukee-San Diego game, the umpire missed 25 balls and strikes. We now live in a world where technology, information, data, etc. is available. Let's use it a little bit.
All right, Arash, never change. All right, my man, never.
I don't plan to, brother. I don't plan to.
Let's talk Thursday, bud. See you later.
Thanks, buddy.
Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is for Brian Golly, Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian, 546-2533. That was a good one and a long one. Let's take a quick break, come back with a little clutch performer. It's a SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. Welcome back to Now Time for Clutch Performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Okay, Colson, this is where I'm going to lean on you here because you've been following this. I was down in Texas all weekend, but the Canada women's rugby team.
Following's a bit strong. I just noticed it, and hey, anytime Canada's doing good in sports, we got to talk about it, right? So
absolutely. So from how I understand, they beat New Zealand.
Yeah,
which is a huge deal.
Beating New Zealand in rugby is a big deal.
Huge deal.
Flat out. So yeah, they beat New Zealand pretty handily. I think it was 34-19, 35-19 this last Saturday in the semifinal. Okay. So they're playing gold against England this coming Saturday. It's in England too, so England's got the whole home crowd. Right. From the research I've done, England's ranked number 1, best program in the world right now. Canada's ranked number 2, so we're up there. But to get to this tournament, Team Canada had to raise $1 million just to get there. On their own. Yeah, they had to do a fundraiser just to get there because apparently our budget's like 10%, 15% of what everyone else has.
Meat sales. Bottle drives.
Yeah, so this is literally like the kids from the backyard playing the prep school kind of thing.
Cornhole tournaments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and apparently even the Tragically Hip got in on it. They were like, hey, we see what you're doing. You're doing this for Canada. And they made T-shirts and all proceeds going straight to it. So, again, they're playing for gold this Saturday. I think it's like 8, 9 a.m. our time. So,
clutch performer. In England, too.
Yeah.
The home turf.
That'll be dicey. And then...
Literally,
I got one more.
Yep.
This is still Canada, closer to home though. Mm-hmm. You're a big fan of 50-50s, right?
I've been known to like the game of chance, yes.
So this is, I believe it was the Newfoundland WHL or SJHL equivalent.
Okay.
Hey, look at this, Seth. 50-50s, $37,770.
Heck of a pot, right?
Yeah.
Wait for it.
My mom won the 50-50.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking. My mom won the 50-50. Oh my gosh.
We need a Big Mary.
David just came up and showed me. My mom won the jackpot. No way.
That's awesome.
What an opening night.
You just got 3 new suits. Maybe you can go get 3 more.
$37K for moms. Yoga pants. Here we go.
I'd say that's pretty clutch.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's good. Good. Unique stuff. Good job, Colson, on our clutch performers. Again, remember, if you have one, send it in, preferably to email hi@sportscage.com. Get some more of the local ones. That's a great $37,000 in a 50-50K. So we're still giving away the Rams prize pack. Clutch performer is for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Regina Rams prize pack. 4 tickets, 2 adult, 2 youth for Saturday's game versus Manitoba at Mosaic Stadium. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. We're also throwing in 2 youth Ram hoodies and 2 Ram water bottles. Thanks to the Regina Rams. 936-6262. All you got to say is Rams. Go Rams, whatever. Colson's going to figure that out. Get you in. We're playing SaskTel. Pick the score as well. Let us know. Riders Elks Saturday. I got a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card there too if you're closest to. That is thanks to our friends at SaskTel. And more winning. We have chicken to give away. Text of the day is winning a KFC pack. You get a free 6-piece bucket feast, 2 large sides. Text of the day. That's it. And then we got Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia coming up in about half hour's time as well. We got so much winning going on here. It's the Sports Cage. Thanks to everyone who's engaging on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Still more to come. We're going to talk AAA, U18, AAA midget hockey. Big opening night for the Regina Pat Canadians tonight. Who's going to be in the lineup is the question. We'll talk to head coach of the Pat C's, Ryan Hodgins. We are the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the Sports Cage on Tuesdays for Saskatchewan Lottery, the main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. Still a lot more to come. Glen Suitor after 5 o'clock. Right after 5 o'clock, though, is Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. Get your dialing fingers ready, 936-6262. Colson standing by. So right when you hear news at 5 o'clock, start dialing. Get a chance to win $100 to Pump Jacks Cathedral. Trivia question today. The tease, it's on the rule changes. Rule changes in football. How about we put it that way for you? We're all about the local sports here tonight. Is the start of the season for the Regina Pat Canadians, the national champion Regina Pat Canadian. It's a big deal because Liam Pugh and Maddox Schultz will be in the lineup for the Pat Canadians. If you can't follow the bouncing ball, they are playing Pat Canadians also with the Regina Pats. So they got the home opener for the Pat Canadians tonight, 8 o'clock, Cooperator Center, and then Friday they should be in the lineup for the home opener of the Regina Pats. It's a unique situation, really interesting when you get into it. So let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline right now. Western Pizza, they're always local and supporting local. Great night to pick up a wheel or any of the Greek favorites you love. Here we go on the Western Pizza guest hotline with the head coach. All right, Hodgie. It's you might want to downplay it a bit, but it's a pretty special night tonight as the Regina Pat Canadians taking on Estevan, and we don't want to look beyond two players, but you got two players in the lineup that it's kind of monumental and unprecedented what's happening here.
Oh yeah, I mean anytime you can add those guys to your lineup, I mean it's obviously it's a good thing. It's good for our group and having them at practice and at games as much as they can is it's big for our program for sure.
What's it been like, Ryan? Obviously, there's a lot of skilled hockey players in the league with the Pat Canadians, but having these two players, what have you noticed that's maybe different?
Well, I don't know. They're definitely elite. But I mean, it's like I said with Maddox all year last year. It's when they're at practice and when they're around, I mean, their compete is just through the roof. I mean, these guys do things right all the time, and they play at a fast pace. So I mean, I just having their pace and their presence is nice for us.
Do they have different personalities? Are you starting to see that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I see out of both of them is obviously I know Maddox, has a lot longer, and but the things I do see is like I said before, is their compete and they're willing to play hard and do whatever it takes to win. They both have that same drive that way. That's for sure.
Obviously, everybody's been welcoming for Liam because it's, we put ourselves back in his shoes at that age. And he's an exceptional hockey player, but still, new city, two teams kind of thing now. It's a lot for him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a lot for these guys. For Liam, but what I've seen, I mean, he's handling it great. I mean, I know when he's been around our team, the little bits that he has, I mean, he's a great kid. I mean, he gets along with everybody. I mean, he's just a team guy. So, I mean, I don't see anything, but for sure, it's a lot for him. New city, couple teams, a lot of new players. So, what I've seen, he's doing a great job fitting into both programs.
I know I got a few text messages right off the hop and all that. Was there any pushback from the league in letting this happen, Ryan?
Well, you know what? To tell you the honest truth, we didn't really have, a whole lot to do with the process. With the Western Hockey League, with the new exceptional status and how it works, and it was pretty driven, from. I mean, obviously, I would like the decision they made, but again, it's Sask Hockey Canada, and the WHL more than anything that I've. With it, so I mean, I haven't had pushback myself, but I mean, I'm sure sure people didn't love it, but in our league. But at the end of the day, it's kind of out of our control.
How many games ideally do you think, let's take playoffs out of it, Circle K tournament out of it, how many games do you foresee Maddox playing, for instance?
Well, I don't, to tell you, like, we're kind of just taking it, month by month, and then working together with the program, with the Pats has been phenomenal for one. I mean, just working together. And the priority is that these guys, don't get burnt out and don't get overloaded and so forth. So, I honestly don't have a number on the top of my head. But again, it's just obviously as much as we can get them, and then they're a big part of the Pats. So between the two programs, we'll just have to, keep working together and making a best situation for the boys. It's
such a unique and it's new, so no one really knows what to do, what to expect. So you're a trailblazer. You'll be able to write a book after this, Hodgie.
Yeah, there's no blueprint for this. So we're working together as the programs, and it's been going good.
Well, let's talk about the team. Obviously, no slouch. You got a good hockey team there. A lot of new guys, some older with some experience already in that U18 age group, and then some young guys coming up. Really strong team front to back for the Patsies again?
Well, yeah, I'm very happy with the guys that we have and the guys that signed, and again with the young guys, some of the young guys moving on. I mean, that's what we want in our program, right? We want guys to get that next level whenever they're ready. So with a big turnover is a positive for the program and for the players, and that's what we want. With a big turnover, again, you're starting fresh and starting from the basics. So it's early. Like I said, I'm happy with the guys we have. And then time will tell on how things click. So, very happy with the group.
Estevan tonight, home opener. What are you expecting from Estevan this year?
Estevan's going to have a strong team. They got some experienced guys. They got skilled players. They got a good rounded team. They'll be really strong. And then for you guys, I know there was a little bit of injury trouble. You guys are starting the year with a few guys on the shelf? Yeah, we got a few out. A little adversity here off the hop. We got tonight sitting out with injuries. You got Montaigne's out, Wiley's out, Hahn's out, Dosenberger, and Bratton and Bowen are suspended. So, we got six of our guys out, but at the end of the day, we'll play with the guys we got, and we have some APs coming up tonight. We have Donaldson playing, and Jaworski, and Steves will dress back up Meyer tonight. Nice. Well, and you've played enough senior. Yeah. You played enough senior too, Hodgie. You know how to run with five forwards if need be. That's right. See that. All right, bud. Right on. Well, I know you guys fired today. We'll be all over it again all season long. Hodgie, thanks for taking some time today. I appreciate it, Barney. There it is, 8 p.m. tonight at the Cooperator Center. Estevan in town. Should be a good game. He says Estevan's got an experienced team. So Ryan Hodgins is joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Pick up some Western Pizza. Stop at a Western Pizza maybe before the game. Head to the C6. Head to the parking lot at intermissions, whatever you got to do there. Pat sees Estevan tonight, 8 p.m. It is the SportsCage. Don't forget, Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia coming up after 5 o'clock. Get your dialing fingers ready. Dave Thomas is going to step in with the sports ticker in a bit. We are the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, the SportsCage on 620 CKRM. Sports ticker. Riders back on the practice field today. Sam Emelis getting some reps with the first teams. Kean Schaefer-Baker was limited no. Tavon Campbell, Marcus Sales was out there, as was Thomas Bertrand-Houdon, but he was limited as well. Riders, of course, Saturday in Edmonton. Jays hosting Boston tonight. Their magic number to Quincy AL East is down to 4. Local hockey at C6. Midget AAA season opening up. U18 for the Regina Pat Canadians. Liam Pugh and Maddox Schultz expected to be in the lineup as the Pat Canadians host the Estevan Bears. You just heard from the head coach of the Pat Seas. Estevan's no slouch this year. Should be a good one. SJHL. Warman's in the Battlefords. Weyburn travels into Humboldt. LaRange welcomes Melfort. SportsCage.com poll today. Which announced change to the CFL game will have the most impact? We're keeping it up today because it was so popular yesterday. You can vote at SportsCage.com. Don't forget, Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia is coming up right after the news. Start calling now.
Ticker in hour 2 is for the local hockey shop, Extreme Hockey and Sport, where they have the price match guarantee. You find something cheaper, take it into them. They're local, always supporting local, and they'll now price match on anything at Extreme Hockey and Sport. Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia coming up. Before that, though, before we get to news, and then Glen Suitor after, let's talk to Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs. Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course is joining us. Brian, I got to tell you, I said it every time in September you've been on. September's my favorite month to golf. We got some nice days here. What can we tell people about specials and closing times and what time they need to tee off by?
Well, you're absolutely right about September golf. The weather's been fantastic, and the best part about it is hardly any wind. But as far as specials go, every Monday, every Wednesday, if you're a senior over 60 or if you're a lady, $39 to come out and play the golf course. And, of course, every day after 3 o'clock, it's $38. After 5, it's $22. And we do have a 9-hole race, by the way, and it's available all day long. So if you're interested in coming out to play golf, there's some great deals. And
you mentioned the after 3 and the after 5. There's still sunlight until I want to say 7-ish and all that. But Brian, people need to understand, like, if they want to take carts, you can take carts. If you just want to come out for a nice walk, hit the ball around, you can walk it as well.
Yes, absolutely. This is a very walkable course. There's no question about that. And yes, we have carts available, so that's not a problem either.
Anything else as far as specials in the pro shop? Anything people should know about?
We've been clearing some stuff out. We've got golf shoes on sale, sunglasses on sale, some of our clothing, but for sure we've got specials in the clubhouse as well. Another reason to come out to the golf course.
I love it. Yeah, looking at the forecast, we got some really nice days here for people to get in, take advantage. How do they book, Brian?
All you have to do is give us a call at 306-543-5050. And you can book online now at flowingspringsgolf.com.
All right. Do you want to give me 30 seconds on what you think about the CFL changes, or do people need to come out to talk to you about that one?
The only thing that I really like is I like the 35-second rule, but other than that, it's the new USFL. What can I say?
Right on. There you go. There's a talking point. If you're going out to Flowing Springs, have a cup of coffee with Brian, and you can talk about it. Talk to you on Thursday, Brian.
Yeah, take care.
Bye. Okay, we got an hour left in the program for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Thanks for making time today. Thanks for the text messages. A lot of you still hot, still angry, and you have the right to be. We'll get through some of these text messages as we get into Suitor as well. Some of them, 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Also, if you want to play Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia, which we're going to do in moments, I think we got a caller on the line. Couple of the text messages that I was looking at here. People are saying they're double gravy guys. They want the KFC. That's for sure. No name 760. No idea where that is. What's the problem here? It's still football. By the way, the goalpost move has the uprights at the back of the end zone. NFL is at the goal line. What? The rule change? No, it's not. So we'll move on to the next one. There was one guy that was saying basically, and I'll condense it down, that this is all out from the East. And I think Suits is listening to this. This is all the Suits in Montreal. There were people from the West in this group, maybe Saskatchewan. It's not that. They're not. What? Two things are the same as the NFL.
The Board of Governors had to approve it, which includes 5 West teams.
I don't get it. Did anybody send more than 2 things that are going to be similar to the NFL? 2. Length of the field, minus the end zones, and the goalpost will be at the back. Other than that, everything.
I guess the game is 60 minutes long, but it's always been that way.
There we go. We got 3. We have 3. 3 things will be the same as the big bad American game. Keep them coming. Okay. Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia time. Colson, let's roll.
It's time for SportsCage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
Pump Jacks Cathedral, large selection of local draft, food and drink specials. Kids are allowed until 8. Entertainment, lifestyle, every weekend on Albert Street and 13th. All right, Janice Dumba, you're on the line. You ready to play?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Janice, you're going to have 10 seconds here. I'm going to ask you the question, and it is based on rule changes in tackle football. Here we go. In what year did the NFL move their posts back? They used to be on the goal line, and then they moved their posts back. Was it 1984, 1974, or 1964?
1984.
Do you want to? We're going to give you 5 more seconds to think about that one, Janice.
1974. Then.
1974, Janice. Lucky you took the extra time to think about it right there. 1974, Janice. Have you been to Pump Jacks Cathedral on Albert Street?
No, not since it opened. No.
There you go. Okay, Colson's going to take down your info. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for playing. You got $100 to Pump Jacks Cathedral. Much. That's right. You can go try out. I heard the soup's amazing, Janice.
Thank you.
I know the dry ribs are great. The draft, always great. Colson's going to take your info. Okay. We'll get to more text messages, and I'm reading some of them. When they're really long, it is hard to read. I'd rather you guys just call in when there's a window to call in. Let's get it going with Suits.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Glen Suitor on the SportsCage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Okay, Suits, I'm going to play the role of angry Western football fan.
Okay.
Damn commissioner, changing the game to be like the Americans. Your rebuttal.
Yeah, no, it's not. The pillars of our game are intact. And we can go through each rule, and I know we will as we go on here, Barney. But I understand the emotional response, the gut response. But let's start let's start this discussion by first saying that 95% of what we ever happens. So let's start the discussion there. Try and suck some of the emotion out of it. We can go through each one of the rules. And then throughout that, there are 4 pillars to me that are lines in the sand when it comes to our game.
Okay. If that's what before we get to that, can I ask you one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Did you sign NDA?
No, I wasn't part of the NDA group. No.
Okay, thank you.
The commissioner's tour. I'm not sure if he visited with everybody on the tour as much as he and I talked. but there was no NDA signed, or I wasn't part of that internal final group there. No.
Thanks for answering that, Glenn. Okay, let's start with the rules. I'll leave it to you. Which one do you want to go with first?
Well, let's start with the 35-second rule because it's going to be implemented this coming next season.
Yep.
So let's start with that because from a television perspective and entertainment perspective, and I think that's where Stewart was coming from in a lot of what he was saying in the press conference was to enhance the entertainment value of the game. And for a television perspective to keep the game flow, this 35-second rule is a good one because in reality right now, we have anywhere between 30 seconds and probably almost 50 seconds between the snap of the ball because the officials will change and they have different timing and the substitution made by teams can be different depending on where you are in the game. So, they may blow in the snap early in the first quarter, but because everyone's way more tired in the fourth, that 20-second clock that's actually really taking 30 to 35 seconds already is now stretched to 45 seconds in between snaps anyway. So this is a way to start the clock the moment the ball is dead. And you have 35 seconds to make your substitutions, do whatever. If you don't, it's delay of game. So this will increase the flow of the game. The most important aspect of it, though, is to not change the final 3 minutes? And I know we've talked at length, and you've talked at length about it.
What if, let's say, Joe catches the ball, boom, puts it down. We got 35 seconds. We get to the line. We're ready to go. We're calling it from the line. Defense is shuttling in and out. They get the 35 when we don't want to lose the 35. We're still in a hurry-up phase here.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there?
Well, I think coaches, just off the top of my head, the coach would probably really limit substitutions at that point.
You'd be forced to take a timeout or go down for a fake injury.
You take a timeout. The fake injury takes a player off the field for 3 plays, so you don't want to lose an important player there.
Mm-hmm. That's why the guy that rides. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, Barney, there'll be some rules committee sharpening of some of these, and I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm defending and towing some sort of company line, because I'm not. And there are aspects of this that I'm saddened by, to be honest, and we can get to those in a second. But this 35-second rule, I will add this to it. If we can, like off the top of my head, the final 3 minutes could look like this, and I'm sure they'll kick around a lot of ideas here. But the final 3 minutes with the 35-second rule in place could look like this. You have 35 seconds to make a substitution and get the ball snapped, but the time clock in the final 3 minutes doesn't start until the snap of the ball. So basically, what my concern is with the 35-second rule in the final 3 minutes is a team with a 2-point lead and a minute 30 left can kneel down 3 times, game over.
Yep.
And our game this year, about half of our games have been decided in the final 3 minutes because of the timing. And the timing allows for, or opens up the opportunity for, coming back from down 2 scores, having to give up the ball and give it to the offense that's down by 2 to create the possibility of the comeback. So I know they're going to dig into that in a big way in the rules committee and find a way to mesh our great finishes and not lose that with this new 35-second rule. And I'll add one more thing on the 35 seconds. If we don't revamp as a league the whole replay center process, restart it, revamp it, cut it back, make it simpler, less chance for interruption in the game. If they don't do that, game flow won't change anyway. So the 35-second has to be in conjunction with a rebuild of the replay center responsibilities.
I don't think we need to waste any time on the benches, because that just makes sense. If Spaceship landed and you told the Martian what was going on, he'd probably say, "Well, put him on the same side, right there." So let's not go there. Let's next go to the goalposts and the length of the field.
Yeah, this is the part where I am torn a little bit. I understand the that they work together. So if you move the goalpost back 15 yards, you take out 10 yards in the middle of the field, then when you get the ball on your own 30, you're only out by 5 yards in trying to drive into field goal range, basically, when you remove that middle of the 10 yards in the middle. So those two changes are interlocked. And the sad part about this for me is that our chance for a missed field goal return is gone. But I think, to be honest, and if you take the emotion out of that, it's really not one of the pillars. And we can go into what are the 4 pillars. But a missed field goal and the single point has been debated and talked about as long as I've been involved with the league, which is now going into year 40-something, directly involved with the league. Every single year we have this debate. And every single year there's a whole bunch of people. And listen, if every single person that wanted to get rid of the single for a missed field goal because it rewards failure, buys a ticket, we will have jam-filled stadiums. This is not a pillar that takes away any of the uniqueness. I mean, yes, it's a quirky Canadian thing that we have had for a long time that has been highly debated, but I'm almost relieved that we can put that baby to bed, put it to rest for a while, and it will eliminate, and let's be clear about this, it will completely eliminate a missed field goal return for a touchdown. And that is an exciting play. But I think what happened here was the Board of Governors said, if we can generate 60 more touchdowns and we weigh that against 4 to 6 missed field goal returns for a touchdown, I'll take the 60 touchdown added. That the 60 touchdowns, if that transpires the way their data says it will, then that's the trade-off that they made. We give up those 3 to 6 plays, we get 60 more touchdowns.
There were quite a few text messages from college football fans in the States. I'm telling us to remember the kick return last year on a short field goal. So, yeah.
It can still happen, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that hate it. Colson wants to jump in.
Yeah, just my own personal thoughts on this. I'm wondering why we didn't remove the rouge on just the field goal and leave in the punt and the kickoff. Because I'm thinking back to even just this year when the Calgary Dinos were down by 9 points, got the touchdown, 2-point convert, and then kicked the kickoff through the end zone to tie the game.
That okay, and that's an anomaly. The punt thing, I've punted it from the 5-yard line through the end zone onto the executive course at Holiday Park. That is a gutless way to win, and I've been there.
My rebuttal then is the ball has to touch the ground or a player first. But if it then goes out of bounds off of a kickoff or a punt, I think that would still allow the rouge to be in play. And then you just get rid of it at the kickoff. That's my own thoughts on this, having mulled it over for, I guess, 36 hours now. But it's just a thought, right?
You big trick shot guy.
Yeah, no, and I hear you on that. But, I think, again, the board was looking at this, and the new commissioner was looking at this and said, one of the criticisms has always been, and the debatable aspects of our game, is that no one wants to see the Grey Cup won on a missed field goal or a punt out of the end zone. Someone's punting the ball, and you get a point and win the game for that. That's a big part of this rule change. I hear you on the nuance, because I've always argued that while I would tweak the single point without moving the goalposts, say for instance, where if the ball is not playable on a short field goal, then you don't get a point for that if it's missed. But this takes it to another step, because let's be clear, there will not be any more returns. If a coach doesn't think that his kicker can make it to the crossbar, unless it's a desperate, last second 65-yarder, we have no choice, which rarely happens, then he's not going to put the kicker out there. Because and why would you put a returner on any field goal that's 45 or in? You wouldn't even put a guy back there. You'll leave him on the line of scrimmage and see if you can block the kick. So the chance for a kick return, a missed field goal return touchdown, is basically eliminated. But I think that's the trade-off that they're willing to try to make to generate an open end zone that now will generate 60 more touchdowns because of that extra space.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with the end zone and the field goal posts or anything like that. I appreciate the uniqueness of having the rouge and having I would prefer to have more opportunities for it still, but I also understand doing a clean slate of, no, we're just not going to have it just to not confuse people.
I think it's a small... I like it too. It's exciting. But the amount of times that we actually see it to the repercussions on the other side, I'm cool giving it up personally.
Yeah.
If you want that hill to die on, that returning of a missed field goal, go nuts, fill your boots. I understand. For
and
me,
here's Yeah, I hear you, Barney. And here's a couple of other things that is, I think is legit, that what the commissioner said yesterday, that the safety angle, and people say, well, that doesn't happen very often where a receiver or DB runs into the goalpost. But if you can eliminate one injury because of that, then, that is legit. I mean, the putting the post in the way of the play is a safety issue. So that's a legit excuse, or a reason, I should say. The camera angles from TV's perspective, where Stewart has a deep background, a camera angle being blocked, and especially it's often our live camera. So the camera that you see in real time, the live action camera, that gets blocked by a touchdown that's beyond the goalpost. That happens. I mean, that Carter interception that they put in the video, I think we're showing it here on the stream. This is partially blocked by the goalpost. In fact, I remember the call because I was in that game, and wow, what a catch. But Rod Smith hesitated on the call because he was looking off the monitor, and that shot was blocked partially. And so he wasn't sure if he caught it or not. And he wanted to hold off till he made the call.
Scott in Regina says the 60 more touchdown projection is laughable at best. So not a data guy. We'll see. He says the college kick 6 play has 6 million views on YouTube. So I think those plays generate interest. Scott in Regina. Understandable. Hey, maybe we'll have
those plays get you up out of your seat. And those plays are now gone. And we need to now see whether or not there'll be 60 more touchdowns. This is the part where, and this is sort of where I am, trust but verify. Let's see and trust that this data has been legitimately found and developed and studied, and then let's verify it over the next the first half of the season next year, and see if we are increasing touchdowns, if the offense is more creative down in the goal line because they have more space, and what all the numbers projected.
Do you like the end zones to 15?
I think that's part of, again, the link between moving the goalpost back. Now, if you're 20 yards, you just have to get so much closer to be in field goal range. I think that's where there was a little, let's not make it too drastic. Let's move it 5 yards. Plus the consistency of Montreal and Toronto. And
I was
things
just
like
going to
that.
say it's because of the wonky, the wonky parks.
Yeah,
let's show Memphis. Do you remember this bad boy, Glenn? In Memphis, show if you're watching the stream. This picture is awesome. Look at that dumpster fire. I want to run into that wall. You're running a flag post or a corner post pattern, and you stumble. You can be in the hospital for a while. That's an amazing picture. Okay, so Glenn, this is Adam and Theodore. Kudos to this guy because he's asked this for 48 hours to different guests. Okay. I actually asked when Stewart was on yesterday. I read it late. He said he's a big pillar guy. Lots of companies have those guys that like to make the pillars. He wants to know the 4 pillars.
Okay, so the 4 pillars for me, and these are lines in the sand, and my response today would be extremely different if any one of these pillars were mentioned. The first one and most important is 3 downs. The second one is 12 players. The third one is the final 3 minutes. And the fourth one is Canadian content. Those pillars in our game, to me, are the lines in the sand. And none of those pillars were encroached upon yesterday. So, that's why I'm choosing to trust and verify, and I'm choosing to be open-minded. But let me add this to the emotion that we're seeing. I want to thank those people. And I think that emotion, including Nathan Rourke in Vancouver, that raw emotion and fight in the dog to preserve our Canadian traditions. Thank you for that, because those fans aren't diehards that need to change, and they're not traditionalists that or don't get it or whatever. Those fans are our VIP fans. So we should be treating them as such. Those are our VIP fans. And that passion and that concern, again, as we started this interview, the 95% of things that you worry about that will never happen, keeping that in mind, I'm glad Nathan Rourke said what he said. I am. He was emotional. He loves Canadian football. I think when he steps back and he looks at the actual rule changes that are in place in the next 2 years, he will see that we are still uniquely Canadian with our 3 downs, our 12 players. The pillars are still intact, including, the development of Canadian content so that we can have stars like Jeff Fairholm in our own backyard.
You don't think it was, for, I guess, one of the poster childs of the league, maybe a lesson to think before you speak, hold the emotion, check 24-hour rule. All parents know that. And then maybe come out with a statement?
Well, okay, yeah, I hear you that there was emotion there. I mean, you could see in how he was saying what he was saying, how emotional he was on it. And I when I went back and listened to it 3 or 4 times, again, I think he was concerned with the direction that this seems to be taking. It was less of a discussion on the actual rule changes that have been added here and more on what does this mean moving forward? Is this the slippery slope? Are we the frog in the boiling water that is turned up slowly?
So, but isn't that just the conspiracy theorists right away, the tinfoil heads? It's like, oh my God, what are they putting in my body? And I got to wear this and I got to do this. It's just like, let's just cool your jets. They're, and the other thing is it's Stuart Johnston. Yeah, he is the commissioner. He had a group of, I'm sure, really smart people looking at this, pros and cons. This isn't just something he sat in his hot tub one night, said, "These sounds like this has a good idea. I'm going to roll with these." And the going back, Glenn, that to Nathan Rourke, it's like Chikai. He never I wish he would have just squashed the 4 down thing. I wish he when Dunk asked him that, and I know you never say never, and that's a motto in life: never say never. Like I said, if the guys that own Live Golf come and say, "Hey, here's $200 billion, we want to buy the CFL," are we a business or are we a community service? First and foremost, what are we doing?
The owners would sell it. So that, and
I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, that's the answer to that question. And but here's the other aspect of what the passionate fan and what the passionate Nathan said. The other side of that is, let's say hypothetically that there is a secret plan to go to 4 downs down the road. This passionate response by fans, our VIP fans, this passionate response from one of the star faces in the league in Nathan Rourke is another reminder to all of the board and to the commissioner. Okay, we're listening, but don't infringe on the pillars. Don't go so far down the line. And I again, I'm going to be talking to Nathan this week because we have the Lions game. But I'm glad that has been out there, because if hypothetically, and I don't believe there is, but if hypothetically there was this secret plan to go to 4 downs in 3 or 4 years, then this type of response will remind them. They're going to be watching. The board will be watching this. And there's going to be lines in the sand for Canadians on this.
Here, if you missed it today, here was Trevor Harris's comments on his thoughts on the changes.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit of an overreaction yesterday by some people, but I mean, shoot, it's still 3 downs. There's still 12 people on the field. Field's still 65 yards wide. The end zone's still bigger than 10 yards. It's going 15. It's still Canadian football. There's still going to be onside punts and all the crazy plays and shoot. I mean, it's the same game. The only thing that changes is really just field goal returns. But the other return game hasn't been affected. You're always going to have kickoff returns. You're still going to have the 5-yard halo returns. So the game has not changed. I mean, it's still the Canadian Football League, and we got 9 Canadian teams in Canadian cities, and so we got smart people at the top that know what they're doing. We're employees. I wouldn't tell an employer how to run their business and what to do, and so I'm just grateful to be in this league and have an opportunity to play in front of these fans and in this country, and so I'm just grateful to be here. And whatever the rules are, we should adjust to them and trying to bend them into your advantage. And so I know there's probably some people upset, but it is what it is, and we have people at the top making decisions, and we have to trust that they know what they're doing, and I'm one of those people that trust them.
I think the kids would call that throwing a little bit of shade, whatever they say, 6, 7. But that's kind of what he's doing there. Some people are saying that's a corporate answer. He thinks he's an employee.
Yeah,
that's what Trevor Harris thinks, which kind of is.
Yeah, and Nick Arbuckle said something similar today as well, very similar to that. I think when you pull out, you mentioned Nathan Rourke and his comments, and could he have worded it differently and taken a moment and then worded it differently? Yes. I would also say yes to the commissioner could have worded his answer to the question from Justin Dunk differently. He could have said don't say never. That starts a firestorm of, they're automatically doing it. But let me read you one other quote on from him, which said, and they were talking about the governors and the vote that was unanimous. They said, they understand that we can and must advance our game, not by abandoning what makes it so great and unique, but by building upon our game's legacy. So, end of quote. So that quote was in there as well. And we choose not to take that one out when it said, we're not trying to change what makes it unique. And this was not to make it. Listen, I think it's disrespectful to the fans to suggest that by making the field 100 yards long, they'll be tricked into thinking they're going to an NFL game. Like our fans are way smarter than that, way more knowledgeable than that. They will not be tricked like this is some sort of. So, again, this did not infringe upon the pillars. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I wrote down the pillars. I'm going to keep them right here in the studio, Glenn, and then we're going to go back to because we could go and I got so many texts I want to get to here, and we kept you long. We get to do this again on Thursday, which is great. What games are you doing this weekend, by the way?
I have BC. I'm in BC and then in Edmonton.
Oh, you're in Edmonton. Okay.
Yes.
Right on. Thanks so much. Let's catch up in a couple days. Text me if anything crazy happens.
Okay, you got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Press coverage with Glen Suitor for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They will treat you right. 781-2090. Get a hold of the folks at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Colson, sorry, we're running late. I know that. I didn't want to cut the man off. He was making some good points. We'll get to some of your text messages in a bit. The short ones, sorry. It's really hard to read the long ones. We also have some rider audio to get to still. Are we still giving away Rams? Rams prize pack. Text in Rams 936-6262. We're giving away the chicken for text of the day. I know a lot of people are wanting the chicken on there. Thanks to KFC, free 6-piece bucket feast. And also we're playing Pick the Score. 936-6262. It's a Sports Cage on the home of the Rider, 620 CKRM. Riders are back on the practice field today. Tavon Campbell not participating. Marcus Sales was. Kean Schaefer-Baker was limited. Sam Emelis running with the ones. It says Philippe Gagnon was also on the field. Thomas Bertrand-Houdon was limited as well. The Jays are down 1-0 to Boston in the bottom of the second. Their magic number to Clinchier at least was 4 going into today. Local hockey, C6. Parking lot bevies. Let's go. Midget AAA season opener. U18. for the Regina Pack Canadians. Maddox, Schultz, and Liam Pugh will be in the lineup. Estevan Bears are in town, 8 p.m. puck drop. SJHL, Battleford's hosting Warman, Weyburn traveling to Humboldt, Melfort's in LA to take on the Ice Wolves. SportsCage poll, which announced change to the CFL game, will have the most impact. You can vote at sportscage.com. Tickers for Steelcraft Doors in Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians. If you need a garage door, they got you hooked up in their new 40,000 square foot facility, Steelcraft Doors in Regina. All right, Colson, let's get to some text messages here. Kelly from Calgary, and we will differ on this a bit, but I get where you're coming from, Kelly. With regards to attendance, we have remember the state of the economy, our earning power, etc., where a lot of people are suffering financially. The last thing they want is to spend their money on a football game when the game is on TV for free. And I've said this till I will be blue in the face. Sports is so much better to watch on TV these days, except for hockey if you're an American. And I totally get that. And that's not a slight on Americans because I love them. I live down there. It's a hard game to follow on the TV. Live is amazing. Football, that's just why NFL, they're seeing slight decreases in attendance. Easy to watch at home. Golf, yet I want to go to Augusta and to the Masters for like literally 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm out.
Yeah, the experience is part of the whole reason, right? But if you're there for the game and the sports is the reason you're there, TV does such a great job of producing it. And now, like with CFL, you've got this, advanced analytics mode too, where you can see how fast the players are running when they've got the ball. So there's a million different ways to consume it now. In person is the only one that still is unique, but is it as attractive or comfortable?
Let's go to Darcy in Melville, home of the Millionaires. Beautiful rink there. Is the Regina taxpayer going to have to pay for field changes? Hot tip, Darcy, the taxpayer pays for everything.
One way or another.
Like, we pay for free healthcare? What? No, we pay for... They're not working for free. It all comes... It has to be... But 10 years is the lifespan. I was just standing on that field. 10 years is the lifespan. So they're going to have to replace the field anyway. If you'd missed the Arash Madani interview, Arash brings up a really good point. I don't know how that will fly. There isn't a lot of stadiums. He's like amateur football, junior football, college, university, stay the same. Mm-hmm. It's on the CFL to return the field to where it was, although the Riders own the field with the city. I don't know how that would all work here.
Yeah, well, was it Arash who said too? Because like the CFL's hash marks are different than every other level. So the CFL the Riders would have to pay to repaint the hash marks for their game versus what the high school and college teams are going to, or university teams are going to use, right? I think it was Arash that said that. Either way, that's the case. So if the Riders are having a field that's different than everyone else's, it would be on their dime, to my best guess, to move the goalposts, to trim the end off, and then move on their dime to move everything back after. Right? But that's my guess. I am in no way involved in the city administration or the Rough Riders organization, so I don't know that answer.
Yeah. Hey guys, just wondering why it took something like this to get teams on opposite sides of the field. It's another Kelly. I agree, Kelly.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of hard to believe that was the case in some.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you're dying. A wise woman once told me years ago that if you're not growing, you're dying. Something had to change. I'm in favor of the changes being made. Yeah, then lots of people in the Nathan Rourke thing backing Nathan Rourke. Evan in Melville thinks that I'm just making things up. That I can't say where I heard that there was people from the West, and then your point, the Board of Governors.
Oh yeah,
were involved.
Yeah, again, the Board of Governors are the ones who actually make the decisions. The commissioner is essentially the chair for the board, right? And he's just the mouthpiece who is coordinating everything.
Imagine if one person actually made this decision.
Ugh.
Like that would
First off, that's a lot of pressure and stress on one person.
I don't know any adult that would actually think that in my circle of people.
Yeah. Well, and Eric on the YouTube chat from East Vancouver, BC Lions season ticket holder since 1978. No problem with the changes despite my quarterback's views. So he's on board, and he's been around almost since the NFL moved their goalposts.
We had a lot. We have there's so many. The American people that were messaging in that they love the game and not change it, and then the North Dakota gentleman was saying the changes aren't leaning towards an American game. It's still very Canadian.
That was Cole Frank. I just found his text here.
Taxpayers also pay for the zipper merge in Regina. 780. We're still learning the zipper merge. It's a slow learn. Okay, I want to get to the Brett Lawther and his comments on the impact of the changes on amateur football.
Sorry, I wasn't.
That ready. It's Lawther 3.
There we go.
Here you go.
That's some of the first questions I had right away was not only the grassroots and always trying to grow the game and, Canadian kids. I mentioned right away, no one's ever going to play the CFL game until they get to the CFL now. So there's no one in Canada, there's no one in the States, there's no one in Europe that's going to ever play this game until they get to this league and this set of rules. And then also finding out, I guess they did give them more time till 27, but the first thing I asked was what is Calgary or McGill or BC, what are they going to do? Maybe it kind of sucks because potentially the Rams might never play in here again and things like that, so kind of sucks to those things, but at the end of the day I guess maybe they could change, but I don't see how you just change every field in Canada. It's a lot of taxpayer money or other money that even in my hometown they finally got the field, the new track and stuff just done after 6-7 years of trying to get it done, and you put it in and now it's a completely different set of rules at the pro level, so it's a little different, but it's like I said, that's all above my pay grade.
Can you queue up, because we haven't played this one for a while too, on Lawther, because this answers a couple of text messages here that people are asking about the union, because he's obviously the rep or whatever his title is, but he says, here's your clip, people that are asking this, he says there wasn't a lot of player input from what he saw.
No, I don't think, Stu's has a job. He gets paid for the Board of Governors, and this isn't really something that has to be approved by the players. I think maybe a lot of guys think it would have probably been nice as, 25% of the revenue gross kind of partners there to kind of know a little more, but at the end of the day, they don't have to. They made the decision to make the changes they wanted, and for us, especially as the vice president, we're worried about player safety, growing revenue, and if this does that, there's not much we can really complain about.
Okay, more audio coming up from Trevor Harris and Coach Mace. If you missed his thoughts after the break, it's SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Really appreciate the text on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner, whatever that rental project is. You can go in, and they also have Husqvarna Days coming up here too, because the snow is going to fly. I am sure of it here. There was another text here. Kevin M. He did leave his name. One way to reduce some of the CFL versus U Sport versus junior football differences is to leave the 55-yard line, just move the goalpost back and forth with end zone paint. Then the rules could stay the way they are outside the CFL. Kevin, I'd kind of thought about that too, and then I'm like, 55 yards. I'm like, you're not kicking a field goal unless you're on the 4-yard line with confidence. But to Arash's point, if you missed Arash, go back and listen to it. Segment 2, podcast form, however you want. He says, I put it on the CFL. You guys put the field to whatever you want and then bring it back to normality after. Will the CFL do it? That's yet to be seen. I was also thinking, will there be some grants floating around for retrofitting things? Is that something they'll look at? If you're thinking every high school, and we are just in Saskatchewan, like we are small. You think about all the football fields across Canada. If you got to try and now fix those and make those. That is a headache. Eli's saying he can complain till the cows come home. That's why we love you, Eli. You're always welcome here. 249 text message. Really want to read this. Maybe I will later tonight. It is so long. I think from Barry on. Unless you want to try and here, let's go to a clip and then I'll try and because it's literally 2 paragraphs or one long one. Coach Mace, if you missed it, here's what Coach Mace had to say about the new rules.
Yeah, just having a chance to really go through it. When I was sitting there like everybody, looking to see what it was going to be, and I know a lot of people went into those decisions, and I'm sure they consulted some people that are around the game for a long time. So, doing their analysis of what all the things that they're expecting from it, can only be good for the league. So, for us as coaches, and trying to adapt and conquer of whatever that looks like, but still going to be same team, still going to be CFL ball, and it should be an exciting product. So I'm curious to see it like everybody else, but I'm for it.
Then Mace mentioned on the impact to amateur football.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not making that decision. But, I don't know, man. I grew up in BC where we played American football, and then in community you play Canadian football, and the fields are always crazy, whatever it is. So, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. But ultimately, knowing our commissioner and how much grassroots football is important to him, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of a plan for that. And specifically in this province, man, I don't care if you do it in a parking lot. Kids love football here, so it's awesome.
Okay, I kind of broke this one down. I think they're from Barrie, Ontario, and they're saying somewhat that we're being rude to fans. Okay, I don't know about that. Tim from Barrie. Thanks for your name, Tim. He's saying basically it's not the commissioner's game, or the governor's. It's our game as Canadians, throwing huge changes at Canadians with no consultation and trying. He says he went around the country and asked fans. So do we take him at his word? Maybe on that. It is our game as Canadians in a way, but are you okay paying the bills for these teams that are losing money? I'm not. So it's not my game. I like watching it. I don't want no financial stake in what's going on in Toronto and how much money they're losing. So I get what you're saying. Here's the one point that I don't mind. Where is it? These changes, CFL is a lesser league here, and nothing will change that. Why piss off true fans everywhere trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist? It doesn't look like a huge move toward the NFL. Canadians have every right to be pissed. It does look like a huge move to the NFL. I guess we could debate that, because I think in 2 years there's only 3 things that are the same with the NFL. Are they moving towards that? No, I would. Man, if there was a future bet on that, I'd hammer that all day long. I don't think it's happening. It's been awesome. Thanks everybody. You guys are great. Maz is in tomorrow. He's got some guests. This ain't going anywhere. We'll be talking about it all week. Looking forward to Thursday and Friday, and we're getting ready for Saturday at the Riders. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Saskatchewan Lotteries, Western Pizza, Prairie Land Rentals. We'll talk to you again on Thursday.